Welcome to Tuteetute. Today we are going to discuss the first part of current affairs from the month of March. Okay, what's the first news? The first news is India's GDP growth slows 4.4% in the October-December quarter. This is the first news. They are telling about India's GDP is going to slow down in the graph. India's gross domestic product, that means GDP, growth rate fell for the second straight quarter in the October-December period. Coming in the 4.4%, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation said. Presently, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation said that India's GDP growth is going to slow down. That's why present India's GDP growth is 4.4% annually. The 4.4% is the latest quarterly growth number of the lower than the 6.3% growth that was recorded in the second quarter of 2022-23. What's the total? In the second quarter in the year of 2022-23, the GDP has calculated 6.3%. But presently the GDP is only slowed down to 4.4%. That means which itself was less than half of the 13.2% increases posted in the April-June 2022 as the GDP growth rate benefited from a low base in the early part of the year. That's why they told India's GDP growth is going to slow down. That's the important thing in this current affairs. But sometimes some students have doubt and our freshers have some doubts. What is GDP? The GDP means gross domestic product, or referred to as the total monetary value. What is GDP? GDP is the total monetary value of all final goods and services produced within the geographical boundaries of a country. What they told, in a geographical area of a country, which product the total monetary value of all the final goods and services, that is the value of the GDP during a year. That means usually a year. Sometimes ask what is final goods and services. Services means we are already providing so many services like hospitality, education, schools, universities, like that, or transportation, anything, etc. But what is final goods? What is final goods? Present day, the goods are divided into two important. What's that? One is final goods. First category is final goods. Second category is intermediate goods. Second category is intermediate goods. What is the difference between final goods and intermediate goods? You can just think, you purchase a car. You can purchase a car or any other vehicle. That production stage is already completed. Am I right? In this stage, the production is already completed. That goods are called final goods. Okay. Intermediate goods is an example of door of a car. Door of a car. You can think the production is not completed. Want to complete the production, the door want to fit in a car. That is intermediate goods. If that means intermediate goods, what is intermediate goods means? Production stage is not completed. Production stage is not completed. That is called intermediate goods. I will give you another example. Like you can just take wheat, sugar and milk. Three goods, and adding three goods you will get another product like biscuit. The biscuit is the final goods, but wheat, sugar, milk is the intermediate goods. These are the difference between final goods and intermediate goods. That's why what is GDP means? GDP means is the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of a country during the given period. That is called GDP. sometimes ask how the GDP is calculating. What is the formula of calculation of GDP? The GDP calculation formula is very simple. What is that formula? Y equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. That is the formula of calculating GDP. What is Y? Y means gross domestic product. Okay, Y means gross domestic product. C means consumption. I means investment. G means government spending. X means export and M means import. Okay, this is the formula of calculating GDP. What is the formula? Y equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. That means Y equal to gross domestic product, C equal to consumption, I equal to investment, G equal to government spending, and X is equal to export and M equal to import. This is the formula of calculating the GDP, that means gross domestic product. Please remember this. This is very important equation for your central government and state government examinations. You can also think one thing, the GDP is mainly divided into two categories. What is the two categories? One is nominal GDP, second one is real GDP. Okay, one is nominal GDP, second one is real GDP. What is the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP? You can just think the nominal GDP means is also known as nominal gross domestic product, is the value of all final goods and services in the current market prices. Please think this. What is nominal GDP means? Final goods and services. Okay, that means value of the all final goods and services at the current market or current market prices. In other words, it is GDP calculated at the current market prices. The GDP is calculating under the current market prices. That is called nominal GDP. Okay, that is called nominal GDP. That means the nominal GDP takes into account these factors such as inflation, price changes, changing interest of rate, money supply, etc. That means the nominal GDP is also included like inflation. We know what is inflation, what is deflation, like that, inflation, price changes, etc. like something like that. But what is real GDP? Real GDP is another kind of GDP. Like that, the real GDP is said to be the value of all goods and services determined an economy after taking into account the rate of inflation. First we are calculating the rate of inflation, and after we are calculating the country's GDP, that is called real GDP. That means, in other words, the inflation adjusted value of goods and services produced in an economy in a year. Therefore, it is also known as inflation adjusted gross domestic product. That means, in the case of nominal GDP, the inflation is not adjusted. Inflation is not adjusted. But in the case of real GDP, the inflation rate is adjusted. Inflation rate is adjusted. That is the difference. That is the main difference. Nominal GDP means the inflation is not adjusted, but in the real GDP, the inflation rate is adjusted. That is the main difference between nominal GDP and real GDP. We only want to know about these basic things about GDP. We don't want to go deeper and deeper. We only know these basic things. The next news, IPS officer Rashmi Shukla named Director General of SSB. What's in the news? The senior Indian Police Service IPS officer Rashmi Shukla has been appointed as the Director General of Shastra Seema Bal, that means SSB. What is the Shastra Seema Bal? The Shastra Seema Bal is the border guarding force deployed along the Nepal and Bhutan. That's why SSB. The Rashmi Shukla, a 1988 batch IPS officer of the Maharashtra cadre, was posted with the Central Reserve Police CRPF. She was heading the State Intelligence Department in Maharashtra police when the phones of Shiva Sena leader Sanjay Raut and Nationalist Congress Party leader Ekant Kes were be alleged tapping in the 2019. This is the history of their occupation. We don't want to go deeper. We only want to know what is the new appointed Director General of Shastra Seema Bal or SSB is the IPS officer Rashmi Shukla. We only want to think like that. Only SSC asking question or central government exam or any state government exam questions asking like this. You don't want to go deeper and deeper. Next one, National Youth Parliament Festival 4th edition. What's in the news? The National Youth Parliament Festival 4th edition was held in the Parliament of the India in the nationalist capital New Delhi. On the first day, the National Youth Parliament Festival NYPF finals the Central Hall of the Parliament, New Delhi. The Minister of State for Youth and Sports Affairs, Sri Nishant Parmanik, gave the speech. During the first day of continuation of the competitive session was planned. You only want to know two things. Which edition of the Youth Parliament conducted? That is the 4th edition. That is important thing. Next one, this name, Sri Nishant Parmanik. Only want to know these two things in this current affair. Next one, President Murmu inaugurates 7th International Dharma Dhamma Conference. What's in the news? The President Draupadi Murmu inaugurated 7th International Dhamma Dhamma Conference 2023 in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. That is the very important thing where he inaugurated the program, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Over 15 countries will be participated in the 3-day conference. This is a 3-day conference. The edition is 7th edition of the conference. This have a special theme. What is the theme of 7th International Dhamma Dharma Conference is Eastern Humanism for the New Era. This is the theme. What is the theme? Eastern Humanism for the New Era. This is the theme of the 7th International Dharma Dhamma Conference and has been planned to collaboration with Sanji University of Buddhist Indic Studies, who Vice Chancellor Dr. Neeraj Gupta also joined the President Murmu. Only want to know this name also. What is the Vice Chancellor of Sanji University is Dr. Neeraj Gupta. This is an important name from this current affair. Okay, next one, questions. We are going to look the important questions of the week. First question. What is the first question? How many of the following statements are true? They are given 4 statements. They are asking how many following the statement are true. We are going to the statement. What's the first statement? The first statement is the Forest Survey of India publishes the State Forest Report once every 2 years. That is the first statement. The second statement, 3 areas within Kenoi over the 40 to 70% are known as dense forest. Third statement is any area with less than 40% over, it is not counted under the survey as the forested area. And fourth statement is plantations are not included in this either. They are asking how many statements are correct. The options are only 1 statement is correct. Option B, only 2 statements are correct. Option 3, only 3 statements are correct. Option D, all 4 statements are correct. What's the correct answer? Correct answer is answer B. That means only 2 statements are correct. Which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1 and 2 is correct. Why? The statement 1 is correct. India State of Forest Report ISFR is biennial publication of the Forest Survey of India FSI. The statement is also correct. Next, statement 2 is correct. Why? All land areas with the tree canopy density of 40% and above are considered a dense forest. This statement is also correct. And statement number 3 is not correct. Why the statement number 3 told under the 14% it is not counted as the forest area. But the answer told the statement 3 is not correct. Why? The 10 to 40% is considered as open forest and counted forest areas. That's why statement 3 is not correct. And what statement 4 told? Plantation are not included in this either. But the statement 4 is incorrect. Why? Plantations are included. The statement told not included, but the statement 4 is incorrect. Why? The plantations are included the India State of the Forest Report ISFR. That's why, that's the difference. Only 1 and 2 statement are correct statements, but 3 and 4 statement are incorrect in this question. Next one, which of the following are correctly matched? First one, Imanov Bunda life. Second one is symbol. We are going to look. Birth means lotus. Renunciation means horse. Nirvana means Buddhist tree. First sermon means wheel. Options are only 1 is correct, 2 and 4 is correct, 1, 2, 3 and correct, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are correct. The answer is option D, 1, 2, 3, 4 and all are correct. That means lotus and bull means represent birth. Horse means renunciation. Bodhi tree means Mahabodhi. And Dharma Chakra Parivartana, that means wheel means first sermon. That's why all 4 statements are correct in this question. Clear? We are going to look the next question. What's the question? Spring Revolution often seen in the news. The question is, what is Spring Revolution? They will give 4 statements. We are going to look the statement. What is the statements? A political movement that aims to just a regime change in Myanmar. Statement 3, pro-democracy protest and uprising in Ecuador. And option C, a political movement that emerged during the Hong Kong democracy protest. And option D, a popular uprising in Tanzania that protested against corruption, poverty, political repression. What is the correct statement? The statement is correct is option A. Why? Protest in Myanmar, known as locally as the Spring Revolution, began in early 2021 in the opposition to the coup on the 1st February staged by the commander-in-chief of the country's armed forces. That's why the first statement is correct of this question. And next one, the term structural transformation seen in economics means, what you mean by the term structural transformation in economics? They given the 4 statements. What is the statement? First statement is compositional shift of labor from low to high productivity areas. Option B, shift of the industries from a raw material centric to a market centric locations. And option C, shift from the monetary policy to the fiscal policy to the control inflation. And option D, transformation from an important dependent to the self-sufficient nations. Which of the following statement is correct? Answer A is correct. Why? The structural transformation means is defined as the transition of an economy from low productivity and labor intensive economic activities to higher productivity and the skill intensive activities. The driving force behind the structural transformation is the change of the productivity. That's why statement A is the correct answer of this question. Clear? And next question, the prestigious and Pritzker Prize is conferred in the field of virology, architecture, effort towards the world peace, effort towards the gender parity. The correct answer is answer B, that means architecture. Why? The Pritzker Prize is awarded by annually to honor a living architect or architects who work the demonstrates of combination of those qualities of talent, vision and commitment which has produced a consistent and significant contribution to the humanity and build environment to the art of architecture. That's why founded in 1917 by J.A. Pritzker and his wife Clinde, the award funded by the Pritzker family and sponsored by the Hyatt Foundation. That's why the answer B is the correct of this question. And we are going to look the important dates of these 10 days. First one, 1st March. That is Zero Discrimination Day and World Civil Defense Day. And 3rd March, World Wildlife Day and World Hearing Day. And 4th March, National Safety Day. And 8th March, International Women's Day. And 10th March is CISF Rising Day. These are the most important days of this 10 days. Okay, these are the things we are going to already look on the first set of current affairs from the month of March. Thank you.